Sometimes there's very well-meaning advice, whether you're looking for careers or whether you're looking for a new business or looking for something else, is like, find a passion, do something you're passionate about, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Okay.
It usually is very well-meaning, but it's well-meaning horseshit.
Well, hi there, and welcome to Side Hustle Hero, the show that is laser focused to inspire you to take action to start or to scale your side hustle income stream. I'm your host, Joan, author of The Way Success Works. We've all heard it. Do what you love to do, and you'll never have to work another day in your life. I've seen many cases where that's worked well, including in my own life. But today's guest reveals what, instead of your passion, should be the primary driver. I've been looking forward to having Shortt as our guest because Stephen has been involved in the business of matching people with their best work for pretty much all his adult life. He's part of a family-owned and operated business that helps match the right people with the right careers. I wanted to draw on his expertise in this field to help you in your search of finding the right match for your side hustle. Be sure to catch the end of episode wrap-up where I share some examples of how you can use the assets and resources of someone else's company to help launch and assist your side hustle. Now here is my conversation with Shortt, coming to us from Dublin, Ireland. Well, welcome, Stephen.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Great, you could join us. While some people pursue a side hustle as a passion project, something they'd be doing whether it was making money or not, the majority of our listeners are interested in the money-making piece. And someone embarking on a new venture needs to have perseverance, consistency to give the new side hustle a chance to gain traction. So it needs to be a good fit for their personality. And that's where you come in. So my theory is...
in theory, yeah, that's where I come in.
Yeah, okay. Well, my theory is that the knowledge and skill that you bring to the table when helping someone choose their first career or their next career could also be applied to someone choosing a side hustle that would help them ensure it's a great fit. So is that a reasonable assumption? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm in marketing and I'm Irish, so I can talk on a subject whether I know anything about it or not. So let's see how the next little while goes. But yes, I do spend quite a bit of time mentoring up-and-coming entrepreneurs, helping people who are not entrepreneurs, who are looking for the right career for them and the full-time employment, things like that. So I have quite a bit of experience in being able to match, or in helping people to match the right people to my right career.
Yeah, because I've understand you've been at it for a long time.
So it's my family business. I've grown up in this business. We've been doing it for over 40 years, where we do both sides. We sit on both sides of the table. We do both the career guidance for individuals, helping them to find the ideal career path for them.
Okay.
And we do selection for companies, where we help companies to find the ideal people for their open roles. I also do succession planning with family businesses because I've grown up in two family businesses. I know the trials and tribulations, but I'm also involved helping a lot of entrepreneurs set up their main businesses if they want to launch full-time into that and take that plunge, or find their side hustles, or what I call their inside hustles in the family businesses.
Okay.
And so I've quite a bit of experience in helping people to get themselves on the right path.
And given the number of years you've been involved in it too, I would imagine you have quite an extensive database as far as opportunities out there.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to meet some really, really phenomenal people over the years. People who are involved in startups and businesses, and some of them in industries that I'd never heard of. And I have a database of like 1,269 careers that exist in the world.
Wow.
And there's every now and again, I still meet somebody and go, wow, you do what? Sorry, explain that to me, because I need to understand. That sounds really cool, or that sounds really terrifying, or something like that. So yeah, it's one of the things I love about my job is I get to meet really interesting people and have really interesting conversations.
Is there one was incredibly terrifying or crazy that pops into mind?
I did meet a guy who was... I didn't quite understand what he was doing, but he was fixing, I think, power lines in Australia, or stuff in Australia with sharks. Like, there were sharks in the water while he was having to do stuff in the water. He loved it. But for me, that sounded like... I've done the whole swimming with sharks thing in an aquarium, like with nurse sharks.
Right.
That's about as much as, and you can see them in all directions and you know where you're going.
Right.
Being down in the dark and not knowing if you hear the Jaws music or not, it's not my cup of tea. So
Talk about having a good argument for danger pay.
Well, or talk about having a good argument for not having certain careers.
Yeah. Suddenly, the job I'm working at now looks just
Uh,
fine.
yeah, desk job 9 to 5. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Well, if someone's wanting to step out and start a side hustle, where would they even start as far as trying to find a good fit for them, or what would be a good fit?
So I'm going to give you the classic consultant answer. It
Okay.
depends. I mean, there's so many variables in that. There's so
Okay.
many things. How much time you have, how much money you have, how much energy you have, how much you want to make, whether it's you want to change the world and start the next Apple, or whether you want to have enough money to take the family to Disneyland every year. There's so many things that only you can answer that. Only you can figure out, okay, what do I want to get? What am I willing to put in? How much work do I want to do versus I still want to watch that, whatever is the episodes, or I want to spend an hour on TikTok or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, because you mentioned all those things, and they're like job search 101 for you, but for someone
Mm,
starting out, they may Google something like top 10 ways to make money, and they see something and go, oh, that's it. But they don't take into account how many hours it's going to take.
mm,
Maybe they're a homebody and this is going to require them to travel or like whatever. So some
yeah.
things you take for granted, others might not think of.
I've met a lot of these drop shippers, like the people talking about making loads of money on TikTok and going, you buy in the inventory, or you get stuff on Etsy, or you do this and you do that. And it sounds like, oh, it's so easy, just do it like that. But
Yes.
the ones who are successful actually spend an immense amount of time and energy making sure that it's successful, making it look easy. A friend of mine's son he's dropped out of school. He's actually having a great time doing this, making a ton of money. They himself and some of his buddies just went off to Paris for a long weekend and rented some massive apartment. Like, so, and his father's looking at his finances because he's an entrepreneur as well. It's like he's making money. He's working like hell, but he's
Okay.
making money. And then you see all these other people who are getting lots of these courses without realizing how much time and effort is actually involved in making something like that, because it's so low margin. You need to be such high volume that they don't take that into consideration. They end up burning themselves out and going, oh, this isn't for me.
Right. They pay for the course after watching a 90-minute webinar
Hmm.
that shows all these amazing figures, 5 figures every month, 6 figures every
Yeah.
month. Yeah.
And on residual or passive income,
Yeah.
which, look, there are some things and there are some people that are able to hit it off with passive income and they're able to do things. But in order to get to that passive income, you can 99% guarantee that they have worked their asses off for
Mhm.
years to get to that point, as opposed to, oh, just give me 797, because it always ends in a 7. Give me that and I'll tell you the quick way of doing it. There maybe one in a million, but
Mhm. Yeah.
I would say that there's no substitute for hard work.
And so after taking some of those things into account, any tips on how to go about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes there's very well-meaning advice, whether you're looking for careers or whether you're looking for a new business or looking for something else. Is like, find a passion, do something you're passionate about, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Okay.
It usually is very well-meaning, but it's well-meaning horseshit. It's like, if you are spending your time doing the thing that you always use to take your mind off work, if you're to decompress, whether the candle making or drawing or woodworking or something like that, and then you decide, okay, this is how I'm going to start paying my bills,
Yes.
then you have to start looking at the thing that you love as something which has to be an engine to work for you, which means you need to work on it.
Mm.
And then when you're getting stressed and you're getting tired, and the inevitable stuff that happens when you're working, whether you're side hustle or a normal career, it happens. You now don't have that outlet for you that might have taken your mind off it for an hour or two doing clay pottery or something like that to free your mind. And you're stuck in that cycle now of going, I now hate the thing I used to love, and I'm stuck doing it because I've invested so much time and energy into doing it. So
Right.
my advice to entrepreneurs, and I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, my advice would be, instead of saying, oh, find something you love and do that, actually find something you hate. Find a problem that you want to fix in the world and spend your time fixing that, because there will always be more instances of whatever that problem is. And you'll always have customers. If there's a problem that the world wants fixed, if you spend your energy trying to fix that. Now, I'm not talking about, I mean, cancer or global warming as a side hustle. I'm not talking about that, but people might want something faster or cheaper or more colorful, like setting up an Etsy store to sell something that you've built, or a service that you're providing because people are time poor and cash rich and all this kind of stuff. All of these different things. There's so many things that you can do on the side to make a bit of money, make a lot of money, make an obscene amount of money. But it's generally, if you're able to fix a problem that people have, that's the easiest route to setting up a side hustle or a main hustle.
And the emotional award too, as far as coming up with that solution
Yeah,
would be great too.
absolutely.
Yeah. And to your point about not doing something just because you love it, had a friend that had the opportunity to get involved in a ski hill on an ownership side. And he said, no, I love skiing too much. I just want to go up to the hill and
Yeah.
ski hard before I have to go down to the restaurant. I don't want to do it as a business for all the reasons that you just mentioned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart person.
Well, you touched on the point about a side hustle opportunity potentially being found within a person's full-time employment. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so this is something that I call an inside hustle. So if you're in, I mean, I look at it from a family business point of view, but any business, anywhere where you're embedded, if there's a way of being able to develop something using the resources of the business on behalf of the business. But if you're in a family business, if you're not sure, or the businesses, you can't grow to a certain point because the current generation of the parents are kind of risk averse or something like that. They don't want to be risking don't want to be risking the farm, or nearly seeing everything that could implode. And I've done this in my family businesses as well. When I was younger, when I was coming up and learning different things, I tell people about an inside hustle where you can take a new product, a new service that can be an add-on, a bolt-on, or something that is in the same industry but slightly different, using the resources and the knowledge of the business. If it doesn't work, that kind of withers and dies on the vine and it's left to go. It's like, okay, what are the learnings that we can take from that and apply to the main business and then help that to grow?
Yeah.
If it is successful, then it gets reabsorbed back into the business. The business gets a little bit bigger, and you as the person that is running it have learned a lot more, grown a lot more as a manager, and are able to then step up and take on maybe more responsibility and grow other parts of the business. There's plenty of examples where the inside hustle actually became the main part of the business, and maybe they jettisoned the old business, or they even closed the old business because this new thing that they found was far better in terms of excitement or monetary reward or making a difference, or something that's more aligned with where the people were at that point in their journey. So,
well, what is an example or two of that then?
so there's a sunglasses company in South Africa. I cannot remember the name of it. As soon as I was talking about it, I remember the story, and it's like, she's gonna ask me about a story. I can't remember the brands, but it was the nephew of the owner of the brands. This sunglass brand had been around for about 30 years. Real mainstay, not Ray-Bans, but something like akin to Ray-Bans in South Africa. Everybody had them. They were good, solid, traditional sunglasses. And the nephew came along and was like, yeah, I'm interested, but I don't like, it's an old brand. I'm much more young and hip and everything else. So they took all of the learnings, all of the contacts, all of the knowledge they had in making sunglasses. They created a new brand, which was completely differentiated from the old brand. They ended up doing about 3 or 4 times the volume of business and the profitability of the business with the new brand. And they sold the older brand to like a PE firm and just took it on because it churns out and they can keep that going for another 20 years.
Yep.
And they're on this trajectory with this new sunglasses brand. I think I have it on my website. I'll look it up.
And an example from your early days being involved in your businesses as the family.
So when I started in the language business, we had an English language school and an ESL school. When I was late teenager and I was learning the business, we started running summer camps specifically for me to learn over the course of a month, 2 months, dealing with families, dealing with agents, dealing with students, dealing with this, dealing with that. If everything went real belly up, you just had to see it through for a couple of weeks, and then next year you can start again and take the learnings and do everything.
Right.
So it wasn't risking everything in the main business.
Yes.
When we sold that business, that was worth probably about 25% of the annual revenue, that 1 month between the two centers.
Nice.
So it became a really important part of the business.
Nice.
One that maybe didn't work is we were a bit ahead of our time doing online classes and pre-recorded video learning back in 2009, 2010. Like we were doing this many, many years ago.
Wow.
And we were doing a freemium model. It wasn't really engaged with. People weren't really comfortable doing stuff online. But because we were able to take a lot of the learning, we did it for a couple of months. We took a lot of the learning with the digital side of things. We trained all of our teachers, trained all of the staff to be much more technically aware, technology aware. And then we sold the business just before COVID. The whole team, most of the team was still in the business when we sold it. They were able to pivot within a day and a half to teaching online. And they were one of the first school, if not one of the only schools, that were from week one teaching 15
Yeah.
hours online, because everybody was set up to be able to do it. So you can
Nice.
take learnings if it works and if it doesn't work.
Yeah. And depending on the employee's contract, they may be able to do something completely on the side so that there's the ones that benefit in a greater way and monetarily and for that innovation. And I can give you an example of one from my own life. I was involved in the self-storage industry for a long time, and our property was about 7.5 acres. And so it was a big place. And I also ran a kayak business out of there.
We have this is what I love about North America. In Ireland, we have neighborhoods that aren't that big. You had a storage facility. So anyway, go on. Sorry.
No worries. So not only that is we had a kayak business running out of it as well.
Mhm.
And I had a lot on my plate, and the kayak business was strictly sales. And I would have loved for someone to have come along and wanted to run kayak lessons, kayak rentals out of that
Mhm.
place and just pay me X amount of dollars per whatever. We'd figure it out. But essentially, it would be a win-win. This
Yeah.
entrepreneur, this person wanting to create maybe a side hustle for themselves says, I'll solve your problem, Joan. I'll increase your revenue. Just give me the boats and I'll look after
Mhm.
everything. So there could be opportunities like that too. That
Absolutely.
a person needs to just build in their mind what it is that they want to do as a side hustle and then figure out maybe there's already resources or people out there that you can create a win-win.
So I tried to do this with evening classes in our language school, looking for somebody to take, like, to do something win-win, to do something jointly where they'd have the facilities, we get a little bit, they get the majority because they were doing the lion's share of the work and all the rest of it.
Right.
And I think most entrepreneurs, and this is really important for people looking for their side hustle, most entrepreneurs, I think, are really open to this idea of, so long as you're not coming in and taking away from my business, if you're doing something which is complementary and we can work together on it, and you're doing the majority of the work and I'm getting a little bit of the payback from it, absolutely. Like, fine, yeah, go for it. Like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's
Yeah.
do something. And I think most entrepreneurs, especially founding entrepreneurs, so long as they see it as complementary, ancillary, something that's not going to take away their business, and they can do something and get that spark back,
Right.
I think most people are really open to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because in my example with the kayaks, a person might be under the assumption that if they want to start and do kayak lessons on the side, that they would have to invest all this money in equipment and a facility, and that's
Mhm.
not true. Maybe it's already there, and there's an opportunity there for you. So,
I love that idea.
yeah. Well, how do
Yeah,
you
cool.
how do you see the future of work evolving, especially with the rise of AI, automation?
Oh, I think we're all going to be in the Matrix and we're all going to be battery. No, I'm kidding. I'm I would consider myself very much an AI optimist. I mean, I saw Elon Musk last week or a week ago saying the majority of people, majority of jobs within 10, 15 years are going to be done better or more expertly, or being able to more efficiently or more accurately done by some form of AI, robotics, or automation. And then the big question is, well, what do people do with their lives? What do people do? I probably think that might be on the horizon in 70 years. Like, I don't think we're even anywhere close to AI being able to do a lot of the things that we currently need done and we currently do as humans. I do see over the next 20 years AI being as important as Google has been, and it's sideline when you need information or when you want something done, that there will be some form of AI that will help you to do the grunt work of it. The automation
Yes.
will be able to get stuff done quicker, which will free up more of our time. But I fully believe that there will be far more jobs created because of displacement, because of AI taking some jobs and needing some other ancillary jobs in the background. I think that there will be lots more opportunities. An example is actually a friend of mine he's based in Madrid and his business partner is based in South Africa in Cape Town. And they set up a website before COVID. So they were ahead of the curve on this, where if you are in a big multinational company and you want to have an all hands meeting, or you have people who are working remote, which I believe is going to be an even bigger impact on the world. This website, you can go onto their website. It's called Troop Travel. It's a fantastic website, fantastic idea. You can say, okay, I have 10 people in Warsaw, I have 20 people in New York, I have 10 people in Mexico, I have 2 people in Dublin, and I have 6 people in Thailand. We want to have an all hands meeting somewhere on the weekend of October the 7th. It will then scour all of the websites and find all of the flights for all of those destinations. And either if you say, I want to meet here, what's the best date or what's the best time? It'll focus everything in on there. Or it'll say, if that's where you want to meet, here's the best place to meet. And everyone flies into there because it does all that scouring and algorithm. And they have a huge team of people that also support it. Like the computer obviously does all the computations, and it's AI and everything else. But the amount of support and then other stuff that goes into it that makes that job, that would be nigh on impossible for people to do without that technology. But it's building resources and building other ways of people being able to access that information, which is phenomenal.
Yes. I'm in the midst of planning a 6-week trip to several countries.
Okay.
And I know how much work the logistics is for one person, let alone the scenario you just described.
So actually, this was one of the first things that I tried with ChatGPT about a year ago. And I was really impressed with it. To say, I want to have an itinerary of because we were going on a family holiday to Turkey, and my wife likes doing all the books and like, what are we doing? What are the best things? And I said to ChatGPT, it's like, okay, we're going on this day, we're going to here, we want to see this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff. Give us a sample itinerary. And the overlap of the hour. Now, my wife enjoys the whole idea, the whole reading and imagining and putting it together. So it wasn't time wasted.
Yes.
But also with AI, it was so easy to be able to get, well, these are the things that all of the guidebooks say are really good. This is where they are. You can plot maps and you can do everything else. Really, really impressive.
Nice.
There are literally thousands of side hustles that are out there.
Yes.
Figuring out which one appeals to you, which problem you're going to fix, or which fits your lifestyle and your resources best, and then give it a go. At first, you're probably going to be giving up on sleep for a couple of weeks, couple of months to try it out, because you're going to be working your normal job. And so long as you're ready for some late nights, early mornings, and being exhausted and maybe not being able to go out, maybe now's the ideal time to do it, because in January, nobody wants to go out anyway. So
what's the best way for our listeners to connect with you, Stephen?
So plenty of places, but the easiest is probably careerfit.com/Stephen. As all my details are there. CareerFit's our career guidance platform.
Perfect. So what's your best tip to inspire others to start or grow their side hustle dream?
Well, I mean, there's so many options. There's so many potential side hustles. There's thousands and thousands of ways to make a bit of money and make some money legally and otherwise.
Yes.
But really, it's taking in some self-awareness and some self-reflection, because we need to understand, first of all, what we're trying to accomplish, where we're going, where do we want to go. In order to have a map, we need to know where we're going, what do we want to do. The other part of any map is, where are we right now? So that's where we want to get to. Where are we starting from? So how much time do we have? How much time do we realistically have to give this? How much are we willing to sacrifice? How much money do we have? Am I outgoing and want to be on camera and want to be a TikTok sensation and influencing? Or do I want to actually, I think TikTok is going to be something great for my side hustle, but I really don't want to be on camera. I'm not extroverted. I don't feel comfortable on camera. What are the ways that I can go about either having text and music and pictures and having that kind of an influencer style? So where are you right now?
Right.
Are you really willing to have all of those late nights to make sure that this gets off the ground and to really put the work in at the beginning? Do you have the resources to be able to invest in websites or product or marketing or whatever it is that you want to invest in? Do you actually have that and willing to risk it? Because it is a risk. It could go to zero.
Yes.
So who are you? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? So that's really it. Figuring out where you are now and where you want to get to is, I think, the number one starting point.
Nice. And I really do look at it not so much as giving up something, but as a trade. I'm giving up
Absolutely.
maybe one of those nights going up to work on my side hustle because
Mhm.
of what it means to me going forward in the future as it becomes this raging success.
So my best friend's wife wanted to be a writer. She that was her. It was a side hustle, but she wanted to be a published author. And she spent the couple of hours, 3 nights a week, locking herself in the room. Young kids. I mean, I understand the idea of young kids. I want to be in a room for 3 hours and do nothing with you
Yeah.
people. But she wrote 2 rom-com books, and they were picked up by HarperCollins in the UK. There was a bit of pomp and ceremony, and there was some good sales. And she was really happy. Like she's still writing, but not to the same extent.
Yes.
The corollary of that is I actually designed her first book for her cover for Kindle. So I'm actually listed on Amazon as a credit as a designer for a book on Amazon.com, which I think is really cool.
Looks like there could be another career there for you, Stephen.
Well, I am actually writing a book at the moment called Your Future Career, because I want to help people. I want to help people in high school and university, college, who are starting out in their career. I wrote a book, a free ebook last year called Your Next Career,
Okay.
yournextcareer.com, to help
Mhm.
people who are looking to change careers. I actually don't think I put anything in there about side hustles. I might have to re-edit that now and start put in some information about your side as well, and how to figure out your side hustle in the career space.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for your insights, your ideas. Very much appreciated, and for being today's side hustle hero.
My pleasure. Thanks a million for having me.
Once you settled on a side hustle that you think would be a fit for you, or it's time to scale an existing one, you might be thinking that the only way forward to acquire the assets you need, if any, would be to purchase or lease them. But maybe there's another way. I shared an example of my kayak business. Someone might think that to start a seasonal kayak rental and lessons side hustle, they'd need to put out a lot of money to buy the boats. Not true. I would have loved somebody to come along who wanted to offer lessons and tours using my boats and just pay me either a flat fee or a certain amount per hour per boat, and they run it as a separate business. Maybe someone already has the resources you need, and there's a financial arrangement that can be created that'll work to support the both of you. As Stephen mentioned, and I agree, most entrepreneurs, business people are open to doing some kind of deal if you're doing most or all of the work and they're getting a small payback. Back in episode 12, Cooking Up 6 Bestsellers, cookbook author Shelley Adams described how, due to demand, she decided to bottle a line of sauces, salad dressings, and marinades. When she started that side venture, she didn't have a clue how to go about it. She literally Googled how to bottle sauces. Rather than her going to the expense of setting up her own manufacturing plant, she found a facility that could bottle and label her creations. So when paying someone else to do it, she can stay focused on what she's really good at, which is the cooking and coming up with recipes. We really do live in an amazing time, and it seems that for anything that you need to launch and grow your side hustle, there's someone out there who you could partner with to make it happen. Well, that's a wrap for today. You'll find a link to Stephen's info, as well as the full show notes at our website, sidehustlehero.com. And you'll also find a link to my flagship video course, How to Turn Your Thoughts into Wanted Things. Because results, things, they're constantly showing up in your life, but are they what you really want? If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, I'd be so grateful if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and of course, subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here to help them start or grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.